Hey guys, Vic here for Short Axe. How you guys doing? It's Memorial Day weekend up here in Reno, Nevada, and you wouldn't know that by looking behind me. Everything is as green as can be today. Normally by now we have all of it done. You can see the amount of mowing that has to get done. Normally that's done because in the past 5-10 years we've never had a winter like we just went through. People who have lived here for over 20 years have never seen a winter like it. It brought Nevada completely out of the drought, and pretty much left us until here, Memorial Day weekend, to have any need to start putting the watering back in. So one of the first things that I start with is tractor and the mower, and as you can see, I have a lot of it cut down. The swales are still kind of fully engulfed. Our rock rundown feature right here behind me is still completely in grass. Later on I'll do something with that. But for now my goal is tomorrow morning is to get the water up and running and get the irrigation running and starting to set the drip. So it's been really interesting. One of my goals since I got here was, if you look where the tractor's at now and all the area around it, and actually clear down in front, this front section right here, my goal had always been to eliminate the thistle. This was pretty much barren, and the thistle will grow any place that nothing else will. And it had absolutely inundated here. It was absolutely a nightmare. So my goal has always been to get rid of the thistle by bringing in a dry grass crop that does well in this climate. And that what we're seeing right now is absolutely the fruit of the work. It's pretty phenomenal. There is no thistle there at all, not one. It's all grass. It's oats. It's barley. It's some tall wheat. It's a lot of different, very good dry grass mix that we got here locally, and I would put it in, and you can kind of see what it's done. It's just gone bananas. The interesting thing is, up to now, we still have water up in the Sierras. They still have 10 feet of snow, still melting. The rivers here are now at over capacity, and warning people to stay away from them. We have flood warnings everywhere. So it's been one of those winters. It's been pretty interesting. I've never had to take Memorial Day weekend and actually work at getting everything up and running. The garden we got in a couple weeks ago, and literally we planted in the hoops, and I'll show you a little of that here in a minute. But we planted that in the hoops, and it was snowing outside the hoops. So go figure, that was 2 weeks ago. And right now the crops are coming up that we wanted to do. We did a little less than we normally do this year. We have a lot of irons in the fire, kind of all over the place. So, and I'm working really hard on Short Axe and getting the store running and such. And so we're doing a lot of things, and we just don't have as much time to garden, but we still love doing it. So absolutely we're going to do it. So we're doing that. We're making some modifications. The chickens came out of their molt really nicely, and they're producing, right now they're producing about 6-7 eggs a day, which is plenty for us, but we eat a lot of eggs since we're paleo primal diet anyway. But I just kind of wanted to show you what's going on out here. I'll work on setting some of the irrigation up, but I'll show you a little bit of that in the video coming up here. I'll give you a little bit of the gist of that in the morning, of kind of what the startup is. It's not really big. It just takes a little time to get it all up and running and make sure all the drip's working. But it's been an interesting season. I mean, it's, what is it, 7:45 in the evening right now. And very pretty, temperature's wonderful. And this has just been an amazing day out here, just getting a lot of the grass cut. And just the results of getting rid of the thistle. I am just beside myself. It actually works so well. So that's the thought. I'll show you a little irrigation coming up here, and then give you a little tour of where we're at in the rest of the planting. So hang on, we'll be right back. Well, it's Sunday morning, and we're set here this morning. This is the Swale water manifold, and you've probably seen a previous video. If you haven't, I'll give you a quick overview. 4 zones. Got 2 zones on the upper swale and 2 zones on the lower swale. This is the timer. programmer here. This is the water filter. This is the water pressure. And this is my double check valve that comes in off the line. The way I do this one is that, and the reason I really use a backflow or a double check here is that I don't want this water ending up back in the well, and the well is about 10 feet from me. What I do is I use a really high quality connection hose, and I connect from this to the riser that comes off, that's tapped off the well line. I come off the riser into this manifold, and this is where all my water comes in. Like I say, we reduce the pressure, we filter it, and then it goes down to the particular zones. When I secure this for the winter, I've got actually a valve down here that I can open, and it will, I'll remember to close it right now. Done that wrong. And what it does is I'll open this, I'll open the bleeds on each one, take out the filter. This will all drain down to this lowest point, and there will be no water left in here. I actually made a discovery or large mistake at one time, and I didn't open these bleeds, which do not release the vacuum and allow this to drain out. So live and let learn. I've had to replace this once, and this thing is very expensive. This is about, I think, $250 or something along those lines. It's ridiculous, but absolute necessity here. So I can shut it off here. What I do during the winter is that I really clean everything out pretty well, but the filter's never in this. I take filters out and I clean the screens out until I can get them clean enough to reuse. And then at the beginning of the next season, put them right back in. And you can reuse these things many times as you can until the screen actually just won't come clean anymore, and then just buy a new one. The problem with some of the components that you get is you have to buy the whole component and you can't buy parts of it. So that's a little laxing. So I use four valves here. These are all 9-volt, which are controlled by this timer right here. And then the other thing that I do first of the season is that I do not want to end up with this battery running out during the season, and I don't become aware of it, and suddenly I've gone a few days because of a dead battery. So at the beginning of every season, it gets a fresh 9-volt. This is a really, really good timer, and I get most of my stuff, in fact, I get all of it through DripWorks. DripWorks is the only place I use. They ship really fast. They have great products. They carry every single thing you need. All this manifold, everything was built out of it. The only thing they don't carry are these double checks, and you have to order one of those online. So what I'll do is go through my procedure here and get everything up and running. These valves have been open, so I'll run the water and then I'll shut the valves down. Then I can go out and turn on a zone and physically walk through the zone and make sure that I haven't had a line split or connection pop loose and something isn't getting water. So I'll check it zone by zone, and I'll start walking through them. I've kind of gone through 1 and 2 a little bit earlier this year, so it probably won't take too long up there. I think it's going to take more time down below. But today's important. I need to get the water on. And I'm going to do a little different method than I did last year. I've been trying to, my goal has always been with the swales, I wanted fruit trees on top. And the thing that I've realized, of course, is that fruit trees are deep soakers. I want to really put a lot of water on them at long intervals. And I haven't been doing that because I've been trying to satisfy the other plants on the swale. In truth, if I had to do it over again, the trees would not be on the swale. They would be in a separate system that I could control much tighter as far as their watering. Here I have a combined, I would literally need to run more zones out here now just to put one zone that's on nothing but the trees. And if I'd known that going forward, I would have done that. At this point, I don't know that I will. I think I'm just going to switch it, and I'm going to make the priority the tree and its watering needs and see how the rest of the swale responds to that. So we're going to find out, and it may be just fine and it may not, but I'm going to switch that up this year and I'm going to see how it works. So we'll kind of wait and see. So here's kind of the startup for me. I'm not going to bore you with going through the whole thing, you know, turning the water on, bleeding this, bleeding that. You know, if you really want to see that in detail, let me know. But it's once you put a system together, then you kind of get used to how it starts up. But these are kind of the basics, and I did a whole video on how I built this. So if you have any questions, you can go back and look at that, and I don't recall the episode number. So with that, I'll get back to it, and we will talk later. Alrighty, well, the day is pretty much over. Thought I'd just give you a little walking tour, kind of from a distance. Sun setting here. It's Sunday, Memorial Day weekend. It's about 7 o'clock at night. I just thought I'd give you a little shot here of everything. Let me move in a little here and I'll kind of show you. This is tow swale. And it was pretty remarkable. I haven't had many times when I had nothing to do. So there's the water master station. There's the main swale south end, and then here's the north end. So I pretty much got everything cut. So everything has been cut with the tractor trimmer. All the grass is down to about the height I want it to be. Feeling pretty good. I only had 2 little minor issues to deal with. And it was a tree right at the very end. That one didn't have a water loop, and or didn't have a water. What I've been doing is putting a drip loop around the tree's drip line, and kind of matching that. That way I can adjust that drip line as they get a little bit larger, and I've done that on a few of them. So 2 of them I had to do that with, and one had a little split in it. Other than that, everything else is completely up and operating. I've been running a test today. On these particular timers, excuse me, you can do a complete cycle. So whatever you have set in the program, push one button and it will run the cycle. So I've been running that today just to get some water in the ground. But let me take you over and I'll show you just what the hoops are. The hoops got planted 2 weeks ago, and things are starting to come up. What I do now is I completely open them every day, because right now we're getting around 80, probably mid 70s to 80s right now, and in the hoops, a lot warmer. So what I do is I built these with Dutch doors, and if it's a little chilly, if we go through a chill phase, I'll just open the top ones. But in this weather, I'm opening everything up. So my back vents are wide open. Sometimes if it's a little windy, I can draft those down, or a little chilly, but everything's doing pretty well. You know, we had a little bit of transplant shock when we first put them in, but you can kind of see from this little guy, doing pretty well. Already got some jalapenos started. So we kept it kind of light this year, given all the projects we got going on. So we did several things. This little pepper is called King of the North. Never planted it, but thought I'd give it a try. Everything we got 2 weeks ago, and we get it from the Great Basin Food Co-op. Closes off their street and does an organic plant sale. So everything here is organic. Now this is a Corsa de Toro, a little different pepper. So I'm going to try that one. But they close off the street, and all the farmers and growers bring their plants down. And we've got 2 or 3 different tomatoes here, which would be plenty for us. And this is lemon balm. We planted a little bit of that. This is basil. We want a little more basil going. And a couple more peppers. I think another King of the North and a Carina de Toro. So tomatoes, we always mark everything because we can never remember. Big Italian. Lisa does a pretty darn good job of marking these guys. Fireworks Early Red. Never heard of this one, but gonna give it a shot. They're all looking pretty good. We got here Porter's Pride. Haven't heard of that one, gonna try it. And Early Anna. There might be 2 others over there because we really wanted to just try some different stuff. Oh, yellow pear, which we always like a yellow pear. And what's the last one over here? Indigo apple. Now this might be interesting. Indigo apples, I think, are supposed to be a very dark, about the size of an apple. So what we did on this side is we decided to use a bean theme. So these particular ones in this row are all KT Wonders. Now these are all climbers, string beans. And we've done this before, as you can see the remnants on the wire. And this actually works out extremely well. We've got them on drip in here, of course, and then they continue to still come up. This one just popped up just yesterday right there. So they're coming up, and then as soon as we do, we'll train them over to climb, and they'll climb this fence. There's the same thing on the other side, so we'll have climbing on both sides. What we did on the outside, these are Blue Lake bush beans, and we planted a whole row, kind of like they said, and we will definitely pinch off whatever we don't want. This one side we left fallow for now, so we'll see how that grows. But there's a newbie just coming into the world, wondering what the heck's going on. And then on this side, pretty much the same thing, and they're definitely coming up. We still got them popping through. Soil temperature's been really good for quite a while, and this row is a little late, but just starting to come through now, so we'll get more out of that. And again, this one, same as the other one, I've got kind of an upper vent. It's way up on top. That one's almost always open, and the big main vents are open and the doors are open wide, so that's just the way we'll run them during the summer, because it gets too hot in here way too fast. So that's kind of the tour of the whole place at the moment, and it's getting near dark here, and you know, that's pretty much the up-to-date report here from the homestead. And hope you guys are doing well on Memorial Day, and remember the guys we've lost tomorrow. Some of them have given everything willingly, and we thank them for that. So with that, you guys take care, and we will talk to you later.